One year, as we were preparing for the yeshiva's Poland trip, the travel agent asked for a copy of all the participants' passports so they could order the flight tickets for the trip. I said, no problem. Our very capable office has a download already of everybody's passports, so all I had to do was get the file and pass it along. A few hours later, the travel agent called back and said, are you going to send the passports? We have to order the tickets today. And I was confused. I said, what do you mean? I already sent the passports. I looked in my sent mail. I saw that it was sent. They didn't receive it. What's going on? And it turns out that the travel agent's email had a dot in between the first name and the last name, and I had sent it to the email address of the travel agent at gmail.com without the dot. Okay, so now there was somebody out there that had a copy of many students in the yeshiva's passports. So I went to look. Turns out that this guy lived in Detroit, and it was a Middle Eastern name. So I was a little bit nervous because this wasn't too long after 9/11, and I was afraid that, wait a second, maybe I now send passports to a potential terrorist. So I sent this person an email. I said, I know that I sent you passports, American passports. I'm just letting you know that I contacted the FBI to tell them that this happened, and if you try to use them, so they're going to catch you and it's going to be big trouble. So the guy sends me back an email and he says, why do you have to get all huffy puffy and threatening? Why can't you just ask me nicely? I'm just a regular guy. Just ask me nicely to delete the email about the passports. What's the big deal? The Gemara in Shabbos, Kuf Mem Zayin, Amud Beis, tells us the story about Rebbe Elazar ben Arach, that he went to Dionysus. And because of the time that he spent there, it numbed a little bit his ability to learn. And when he got home, it was a section from this week's Parsha, HaChodesh Hazel Lachem. However, instead of reading it, HaChodesh Hazel Lachem, Rebbe Elazar ben Arach, the great Rebbe Elazar ben Arach, who the second parak in Pirkei Avos tells us a number of Mishnayos to tell us how great Rebbe Elazar ben Arach was. And he read, instead of HaChodesh Hazel Lachem, he read Achiresh Haya Libam. What was the mistake? What did he do wrong? So if we look closely at the word Hachirish that he said instead of Hachodesh, so the difference is the Hey is the same, the Ches is the same, the Shin is the same, but he said a Resh instead of a Dalid. He took away that little piece on top of the Dalid that is the difference between a Dalid and a Resh. What's the difference between Hazeh and Haya? So again, the two Heys are the same, but instead of saying a Zayin, he cut the bottom of the Zayin and just said Haya instead of Hazeh. And Libam instead of Lachem. Again, the Lamed and the Mem are the same, but he said a Beis instead of a Chaf. He added a little dot to the bottom of the Chaf that turned it into a Beis. Dots make a difference. We know in our time, try to send an email or try to call a phone number, and we're one number off or we're one dot off. Dots make a huge difference. We need accuracy in our lives, and particularly when it comes to Avodas Hashem. And if we aren't doing things exactly the way that Hashem wants, so then it might have massive ramifications. Maybe we'll never see them. Maybe they're in the higher spheres. But it makes a difference. Hashem does care about the details. How we cut our nails, how we put our shoes on. We have to be of the mentality that we are such powerful creatures that every single thing that we do makes a difference. Why could it be that Rebbe Elazar ben Arach's mistake of all places was on this section of HaChodesh Hazel Lachem? So as the Sforno writes, this is the first communal mitzvah, the first mitzvah that Bnei Yisrael got as a nation. Of course, we had Bris Milah and Sefer Bereshis and Geranashe, but this is the first time we're getting a mitzvah as all of Bnei Yisrael. And the Sforno says, why is this the first mitzvah of all Bnei Yisrael? Because it's about time. When we were in Mitzrayim, we weren't in control of our own time. We didn't have free will on our own time. And Hashem says, now I'm returning to you the power of time, our ability to make decisions, our ability to determine what we're doing second in and second out. And we can't underestimate how seconds build routine. And each choice that I make, influences the next choice. Each detail that I focus on then lends to the upcoming moments and allows me an easier choice to do Avodas Hashem. Yiratzon of Nevinu Shema HaKadosh Baruch Hu should help us recognize our power, our influence, our strength, and the significance of every second so that we can make great choices and always be getting closer to Him. Have a great Shabbos.